The video explores the brutal historical practice of impalement, focusing on its use by the Roman Empire and its enduring legacy through figures like Vlad the Impaler, impalement, an execution method involving piercing a victim with a stake. Dates back to at least the 18th century BCE, with origins likely in Mesopotamian and Assyrian cultures. The Assyrians notably extended this punishment even to victims' families, including children, highlighting a particularly cruel societal application. The Romans adopted and refined impalement, possibly influencing the development of crucifixion, another horrific method of execution. The Latin and Greek terminology related to cross and stake fuels debates about whether some historical crucifixions, including that of Jesus, might have involved impalement instead. Julius Caesar's military tactics included the use of stakes arranged in trenches, a form of Roman barbed wire designed to trap and impale enemies. Recent archaeological discoveries at German sites have validated Caesar's accounts, revealing stakes in Roman coins dating from that era. The video also touches on the use of impalement during the Armenian genocide in World War I, with survivor Aurora Martiganian recounting horrific scenes of impalement that were part of ethnic cleansing efforts by Ottoman forces. Her memoir and the subsequent film Ravished Armenia provide a harrowing eyewitness account of these atrocities. Roman impalement methods varied. They could result in rapid death or prolonged agony, often involving public humiliation and spectacle, as well as the importance of remembering such dark chapters to better understand humanity's past. Victims were sometimes slowly impaled, tied to animals, or left to suffer for days, and their bodies were denied proper burial, left to decay publicly. The practice was outlawed in the 4th century AD by Emperor Constantine. But impalement saw a resurgence in the Middle Ages, with Vlad the Impaler, who is infamous for executing tens of thousands through this method. The video concludes by reflecting on the enduring legacy of Roman brutality and impalement, emphasizing the long-lasting influence of these ancient practices on history and culture. The adoption and adaptation by the Romans showcase the cross-cultural transmission of punitive techniques, emphasizing how societies often borrow and enhance methods of control and terror. Political terror. **** Julius Caesar's use of impaling stakes as a military defense. Mechanism reveals a practical application of the method beyond political executions. This duality, impalement as both a tool of warfare and a method of public punishment, demonstrates its multifaceted role in Roman society. However, the resurgence of impalement in the Middle Ages, especially under Vlad the Impaler, indicates how certain brutal practices can be revived and intensified by later figures, highlighting cycles of violence throughout history. The recent archaeological validation of Caesar's Roman barbed wire underscores the blend of myth and reality in ancient military tactics. The theory that Jesus might have been impaled rather than crucified challenges conventional narratives and exemplifies how linguistic and archaeological uncertainties can influence interpretations of history. Aurora Martiganian's memoir provides personal testimony to these horrors, connecting historical brutality with 20th century genocides and illustrating the continuity of human cruelty in different contexts. This psychological warfare tactic helped maintain authority in ancient societies and influenced how later regimes employed terror as a political tool, scoring the interplay between violence and governance. It sheds light on the mechanisms of cruelty used by empires to sustain control, and the enduring scars such practices leave on history and memory. Highlights. Vlad the Impaler ordered thousands executed by impalement, creating a gruesome display around his castle. The public display of victims on stakes, sometimes for days, functioned as a gruesome warning to potential criminals and enemies. The use of slow death, with stakes coated in oil and victims sometimes tied to animals, highlights a calculated cruelty aimed at prolonging suffering to enforce social order. Impalement predates Rome. With origins traced back to Assyrians and Mesopotamians as early as 18th century BCE, Julius Caesar described using impaling stakes in military defenses, recently confirmed by archaeological finds. Roman impalement was designed to maximize suffering and public humiliation, often lasting days. Impalement was abolished in the 4th century AD by Emperor Constantine, but revived in medieval times. Survivor Aurora Martiganian's memoir reveals impalement during the Armenian genocide, highlighting its use in modern atrocities. The debate around crucifixion versus impalement questions the true method behind historical executions, including that of Jesus. ## Key insights. Ancient origins and cultural transmission, impalements, deeply ancient roots, likely beginning with the Assyrians and Mesopotamians, illustrate how brutal execution methods can persist and evolve across cultures and millennia. Military utility versus execution as public spectacle and deterrence. **** Roman impalement was not merely about killing, it was about inflicting maximum psychological terror and shame. Legacy of Roman brutality. The abolition of impalement by Emperor Constantine marked a significant shift in Roman penal practices, reflecting changing attitudes in the empire and possibly the influence of Christianity. Modern echoes of ancient atrocities. The Armenian genocide, its use of impalement as a tool of ethnic cleansing during World War I, reveals how ancient execution methods persisted into the modern era. Historical debate and translation challenges. The ambiguous Latin and Greek terms related to cross and stake complicate historical understanding of execution methods, especially concerning crucifixion and impalement. Psychological and societal impact. The practice of impalement goes beyond physical pain. Its use as public punishment, denial of burial, and prolonged suffering serve to instill fear, demonstrate power, and dehumanize victims. The video ultimately provides a comprehensive examination of impalement as a brutal method of execution that shaped societies from antiquity through modern times.